Good evening. On behalf of the Artesia Public Schools Board of Education and all of our staff members from Grand Heights to Artesia High School, congratulations to each and every one of you on this historic achievement. You have prevailed through 3 unique years of high school that were not only very different from one another, but also unlike any that we have ever experienced. Once again, it has taken a collective effort of school, families, and our community to support you in getting to this point. So, before we turn our attention to you, let's take a moment and thank all of those who have helped us along the way. Graduates, I invite you to stand, turn to the audience, look up into the stands, find your loved ones, those staff members who were special to you and our community, and please join me in giving them a round of applause. Thank you. Please be seated. Now, before we go on, I also invite you to just take a moment, take a deep breath, and take this all in. Look around Legendary Bulldog Bowl and reflect on your accomplishments and your memories. Wow. It's always a bit of a challenge to decide what to focus on in these few minutes I have the privilege of spending with you. I knew I didn't want to focus on COVID. I knew I didn't want to speak about retirement. And I definitely knew I didn't want to talk about Bruno. But ultimately, what I've been led to share with you this evening is this. Ask yourself the question, what do I aspire to? Not just in a profession or job, but as a person, as a family member, as a community member, as a student, as a leader, as a worker. What do you aspire to? Author Alfred Armand Monapert, an American engineer, philosopher, and author, said, "In life, the first thing you must do is decide what you really want. Weigh the costs and the results. Are the results worthy of the costs? Then make up your mind completely and go after your goal with all your might." There are only a select few times throughout your life when you will have the chance to consider what it is you really want and then pursue that. This is one of those rare times. How do you know what you really want? In a study by Andy Stanley titled Better Decisions, Fewer Regrets, he recommends asking these questions that can lead to a life of better decisions and fewer regrets. The integrity question, am I being honest with myself? The legacy question, what story do I want to tell? The conscience question, is there a tension that deserves attention? What is your gut telling you? The maturity question, what is the wise thing to do? And last, the relationship question, what does love require of me? American model Kimora Lee Simmons says you should aspire to a level of personal excellence, to be the best that you can be. From a very young age, you have heard from parents and teachers and coaches and directors and principals and others to do your best. Your best is unique to you and is dependent upon your own actions. Despite our circumstances, we can always strive to be the best person that we can be. Lastly, and most importantly, Albert Einstein said, "I believe we are here to do good." It is the responsibility of every human being to aspire to do something worthwhile to make the world a better place than the one we found. It seems that daily we learn of horrible tragedies in our nation, and sadly, yesterday was especially tragic. Never before has it been more important for each of us to do good. Just think of the impact on the world if the graduates of 2022 made a commitment to intentionally live their lives with the collective purpose of doing good. Something that makes a high school graduation so unique is the collision of the emotions of looking back at past experiences and accomplishments while anticipating what is to come. As you look back, I want you to take a sense of pride in not only graduating from Artesia High School, but also for the good you have already done in uniting our community. One of our local vendors, and I'm sorry I don't know who to give the credit to, put the following about Artesia on a t-shirt: one town, one district, one family. Just as the events of the past few years have challenged our entire planet, those same events caused division right here in the city of Champions. Thankfully, we are healing, and I believe Artesia High School, led by this class of 2022, is a significant reason why. Whether through a positive post on social media, an athletic event or concert, community service, visits to elementary schools encouraging younger students, a powder puff football game, umpiring and coaching Little League or softball, hanging out at Sonic, being active in your church, or talking on the radio, your actions have given us all a sense of hope and optimism, not only for your future, but our future. For that, I thank you. In closing, my challenge to you is to decide what you really want, strive for personal excellence, and accept and embrace your responsibility to do good by living out the words of John Wesley, founder of the Methodist Church, who said, "Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can." Class of 2022, you have no doubt done your part in keeping it great to be a Bulldog. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Null. This night is about the graduates, and you did mention the R word, so I would just like to take a moment and invite the community to thank you for your leadership over these last 3 years during the hardest time of education history, and thank you as you are going to enjoy retirement in just over a month from now. Thank you. Members of the Board of Education, Mr. Null, faculty, parents, and members of the graduating class of 2022. The mission of Artesia Public Schools is to develop each individual student towards self-reliance and an understanding that he or she can make a difference and can make a worthy contribution to society. The Artesia Public School. At least these guys right here can hear me. I don't know what's going on with this system, but I'm going to keep rolling because I know these guys right here in front of me can hear everything that I have to say. Our schools are responsible for assisting students in acquiring and displaying desirable personal qualities and values. I know from work of 2022 over the last 3 years that the school district, the parents, the community members of Artesia successfully completed the mission. The class of 2022 has exceeded all of our expectations and been excellent role models for the younger classmen. Class of 2022, I want you to know that I'm proud of you. I've appreciated your compassionate spirit, your persistence, your grit, tenacity, your honesty, your integrity, and the positive climate that you have created over these past few years at Artesia High School. Despite the fact that all 3 years at Artesia High School were greatly disturbed by an external factor that was completely out of our control, you held your heads up. You made the best of the situation. The hand that you were dealt was less than ideal. However, you played the hand that you were dealt, and you played it well. Yes, it took persistence, tenacity, and at times just pure, raw grit, but you got it done. Great job. Now I would love to tell you this evening that now that you've graduated high school, everything is going to be rosy and sweet, but it's not. I would be lying to you if I did say that. You see, because sometimes life is just hard. The persistence, tenacity, and grit that you have exemplified over these last 3 years will serve you well when the tough times come in life. A quote that I shared last year with the graduating class of 2021 goes like this: "Tough times never last, but tough people do. So stay gritty and stay tough." Now, not to leave you on the note of how hard life is going to be, so get ready. I want you to know that you have the rest of your life in front of you, so make the most of it. Yes, there's going to be tough times. Jesus told his disciples that in this world you will have trouble, but he followed that up with, "But take heart, I have overcome the world." Learn from the tough times, but enjoy the peace when the good times come. There are a lot of great times in this life, so enjoy them. Believe it or not, the next few years of learning to become a productive citizen of society can be fun, so long as you make it fun. No matter the next steps that you take after this evening, make the most of it. Last night at senior banquet, Coach Moppet encouraged you all to live intentionally. Let me further encourage you all to live with intentionality. Make intentional decisions that will set you up to be successful in this life, however it is that you define success. If success is to go to college to obtain a degree, to set yourself up for a specific career, make decisions that will set yourself up for that. Maybe you don't know what you want to do when you grow up. I certainly didn't know what I wanted to do whenever I was your age, but maybe you want to go to college so that you can set yourself up well. Then go do it. Maybe a trade school is in your future. Go get after it. Lord knows we need lots of tradesmen and tradeswomen in this country. Many of you will go directly into the workforce. Work with great initiative that's going to be recognized by everyone around you. For those of you joining the military, thank you in advance for your service and Godspeed. Whatever it is that you find yourself doing, do it well and do it to the very best of your ability. Becoming a successful citizen in society is important. However, let me encourage you to become and remain grounded in faith and family. These are the things that last. You see, jobs and careers will come and they will go. Make sure you invest your life in the things that are more permanent and, quite frankly, more important. And that is your faith and your family. Enjoy all the times that you are gathered together with your family and friends. Make time to go to events, go on vacations, take adventures. Invest in those who have invested in you and pass this legacy on to the family that you will all someday have for yourself. Now, Mr. Null, you kind of stole my thunder because this is the time that I was going to have them stand up and recognize and say thank you. I'm going to leave it to yours. Do you want to have that opportunity again, or do you want me to roll on? Roll on? I'll tell you what. Let's do this. I'm kind of a spur of the moment guy from time to time, so let's do something. I'm going to do something. I'm going to live life to the full. I'm going to do something spontaneous and that's completely out of my comfort zone in front of thousands of people. And this is where I got the idea whenever y'all were coming in, both for practice a few hours ago and right now, a while ago, y'all were doing something. What does everybody do with their cell phone when they get to a cool event? They take a selfie. I've never taken a selfie before in my whole entire life, but I want to do it right now with all of you in the background. Are y'all ready? Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you for playing along. More time. We wish you the very best that life has to offer. Live each day to your fullest potential. We are extremely proud of you. It's the class of 2022. Mr. Null and members of the Board of Education, have successfully completed all the state and local requirements for graduation from Artesia High School. It gives me great pleasure to present them with their diplomas. Diplomas and certificates will be presented by the Artesia Board of Education. Please stand as I call your name. Mr. Jeff Boatman, President. Mr. David Conklin, Vice President. Mrs. Sherry Widmeyer, Secretary. Mrs. Christy Crockett, Member. And Mr. Ben Harvey, Member. Our central office staff administration consists of Mr. John Ross Null, Superintendent. Mr. Danny Parker, Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Education. Mr. Cody Skinner, Assistant Superintendent of Elementary Education. Mr. Thad Phipps, Assistant Superintendent of Operations. Well, we're going to get through this one way or another. The board members are going to be assisted by Mr. Mark McAllister, Assistant Principal, Mrs. Haley Goff, Assistant Principal, Mr. Cooper Henderson, Athletic Director, Mrs. Tammy Burnell, my right-hand man and Secretary, Mrs. Leanne Thomas, Registrar, Mrs. Maribel Valdez, Receptionist, Miss Anessa Golden, Miss Adrian Blackburn, and Miss Eva Cabasuela, counseling staff. In the press box this evening, announcing names, we have Mrs. Lou Lopez, Secretary to the Athletic Director, and Mr. Michael Mondragon, Teacher and Head Boys Basketball Coach. Assisting with graduation and helping with diplomas at the table afterwards and working with these young people over the last 3 years, I'd like to recognize the class of 2022 senior sponsors: Carla Escobedo, Sarah Juarez, Raylyn Kaufman, Leslie Lewis, Kelly Morgan, Sandra Polito, Kirsten Wachter, Roy Arthur, Murray Avery, Ridge Bowden, Rex Henderson, Eugene Irby, Jeff Hodling, J.J. Ortiz, and Sean Waller. Oh yes,